Hey guys, so for today's video I wanted to try out the hyper realistic nail trend. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into it. I am going to be using these square tips that I have because my like natural nails do grow in more square. I mean, they're kind of more on the squoval side when they grow in, but I just felt like since this is going to be like hyper realistic, I kind of want to make them look as natural as possible and not like do a crazy shape like a coffin or a stiletto or something. I want to do more like a natural shape, like a round or a square or almond or whatever. I'm just gonna go with square because that's my favorite shape. Also, I feel like that's the shape that looks the best on me, just because like I said, my natural nails do grow more square. So I feel like since I'm used to seeing that with my natural nails, that is why I like that shape overall. But anyhow, I do want to cut these down a little bit because they are, I mean, they're not too long, but I don't know, I kind of feel like I do want to cut them down just a little bit. I might go like right under the number here. I don't want to do too much, but also I don't want them this long. Also, these tips I got from AliExpress, I think. They're alright. They're not bad. The sizing is a little off for me. Like they're a little big or small. What am I? No, I think they're a little small. So I have to size up. I think I want to go just a little bit shorter than that on this. Okay, I think that's good right there. I'll have to file the edge a little bit to straighten it up because it is a little crooked. I'm just going to see, I think I'm gonna have to like, because like this is the same length right here on the tips, but I feel like that is still too long on this one, because as you can see, like, yeah, that's still too long on this. That's also like, my nail bits are all different lengths. So I'm just going to take a little bit off. Just doing a little bit at a time because it's easier, because, well, you can take off, you can't add more, so just kind of doing a little bit at a time. I feel like, okay, I think that's good. And now as you can see, that one is shorter than the thumb, but when it's on the nail, it looks about the same as the thumb. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this finish the rest of this off camera, and then I will be right back. I just went ahead and filed the rest of them. I'm going to show you on this one. I am like filing it straight across because it did get kind of crooked when I cut it, but I'm also rounding the corners, which honestly, when doing a square nail, I hate doing that. But like I said, I'm trying to make these look as realistic as possible. And if you look at my nails, they are like, the corners are more rounded. So I am just rounding the corners to soften them up a bit, make them look a little more natural. I'm not doing too much though, just a little bit, so they're not as sharp. And then for like what I use to adhere my tips to my nail stands is this stuff. I don't know how to say that, but it's the caramel gel tip. This is really great. I love it. Instead of using those like the sticky tack or whatever, or I've seen some people using double-sided tape as well, but instead of using that, you just squeeze some of this on to your nail stand, cure it. It says to cure for at least 60 seconds, and you might have to cure for longer depending on your lamp. With my lamp, I've noticed that it works a lot better if I do cure it for 90 seconds versus the 60 seconds. Like, it does work when I do the 60 seconds, but sometimes just doing 60 seconds, like when I go to pull the nails off of the stand, sometimes it does stick to the tip instead of staying on the stand. So that's why I do the 90 seconds, because it doesn't come off on the tip. It does stay on the stand, and they're very sturdy on here. Like, you can file them while they're on the stand. You can rub on chrome, do your sculpting. Like if you're doing 3D using sculpting gels, you can do that right on here, and they like don't budge. Which is really nice, because you know, with that sticky tack stuff, they do tend to like get wobbly and can fall off and stuff. Also with the sticky tack, I noticed like if alcohol does end up getting under there because you are wiping the nails off with some alcohol, it makes the sticky tack unsticky, and then the nails fall off. Whereas if alcohol gets on this, like, it doesn't do anything, they stay on just as well. And then when you're done with your set, you just pop the nails right off, and then you wipe that gel off with some alcohol, and then you can reuse it a few times. So you can do a whole new set on this same little glob here. I've been able to get about 4 to 5 uses out of one little glob here. So that's really nice. You're not having to switch it out as often. I noticed like whenever I was using the sticky tack, I could only do like maybe like 2 if I'm lucky. It just, I don't know, that sticky tack, while it works, you know, and most people do use it, I just feel like this stuff is a whole lot better. And I got it off of Sweetie Nail Supply. I will link it down below, but I definitely recommend that caramel gel tip for anyone who does press-ons. Okay, so for this set, I'm going to be using colors from Ball Pit's newest collection. It's called Till Death Do Us Part. It was her like Valentine collection that she came out with, and it's just a bunch of really pretty like sheer nude colors. There was also 2 limited shades. They were 2 cat eye shades. A blue one that's like a blue purple, and then this one's like a pink gold. Sometimes it even looks green kind of shift. These were limited editions, and they sold out, so they're not available anymore. But you can still get this collection if you want. So like I said, I am going to use some colors from this collection because I feel like they're just sheer nudes, and I feel like that's good. Like they're gonna match the best and look the most realistic. I mean, you could like mix up your own colors, and like I might have to do a little bit of color mixing with these, but like you could mix up your own colors. You could also use like creams instead of like sheers and jellies and stuff, but I don't know. I'm just gonna use these, and hopefully I don't really have to do too much mixing. Okay, so I'm gonna start. Let's try and figure out like my nail bed color. This one right here looks really good. This one's called Cuffing Season. I feel like that one might end up being, yeah, because that one's a little too pink. That one is a little too dark. Okay, so I'm gonna go with this one, which is called Cuffing Season. And then for the free edge part, I feel like White Wedding is a little too white, but then if I come over here to Bare Bones, it's a little too yellow, like cream. Okay, that's definitely not. I could probably mix those two. I probably could mix those two together to get like the right color. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And then, so some people have, I kind of have it right here on my thumb, the little half moon shape, which is called the, oh my gosh, the Lanula, oh my goodness, the Lanula, I think I might be saying that right, I don't know. Some people have it, some people don't. I kind of only have it on this one thumb. All the rest of my nails don't really have it. I'm just not gonna include that on this set because like it doesn't exist for me. But if it does exist for you, or if it, even if it doesn't exist for you and you do want to include that on there, go right ahead, but I am not. So here are the bottles. This is White Wedding. This one is Cuffing Season. And by the time you see this video, you will have seen me use, this one's Bare Bones. Some of these colors, I think mainly Bare Bones. I've used this on a few different sets. I don't know if I've used any other color yet, but I have used some of these a few times, and I absolutely love them. I love a sheer nude. I actually prefer a sheer nude over a cream nude, especially when doing like French tips and stuff. I don't know, I just feel like it looks a little more natural when it is a sheer nude. Not that, you know, when you do as long of extensions as I do, that anything looks natural, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and start by mixing up that free edge color. Mine is more white, and on some parts of it, not so much on this hand, but on this one you can kind of see that it looks a little like more clear on some parts. I'm not gonna go that into detail with it and trying to match it up exactly like that. So I'm just gonna have it like this. So I definitely want more of this white color. I almost feel like I could probably get away with just doing this on its own, but I'm going to mix in a little bit of this. I'm going to start with that because I can always add more. And I know I've seen people, like when they do it with acrylic or like solid, not solid gel, but like creams, or even when they're like sculpting it with gel, like they'll mix white, yellow, and brown together to get that color. So I feel like because the white wedding is more of a cream color, it has the white and the yellow there, and then this is that little bit of brown that you need. So instead of mixing a bunch of colors together, I can only mix, and you really have to mix 2 colors together. And I think that is good. Like that's, wait, let me, it's kind of hard to see. But I think that matches up really well. Hopefully it looks like that on the nail. Sometimes when you mix colors on your palette, you think it's right, and then you put it on the nail and it ends up not looking right. Now I will say this is probably a lot easier to do like on yourself, like if I were to have the tips on here, because then I could better see like where to outline the like how far down to put the free edge, because I could line it up with like my natural nail. But we're just gonna have to kind of eyeball it. I mean, I think it's gonna line up pretty well with this like edged part right here. So that's just what I'm gonna do for this nail. It's gonna be different on each nail because they are kind of different, like the tips themselves are different lengths. So I'm gonna have to do this for all of them and just kind of eyeball it. Yeah, I think I can get away with lining everything up with how this is. So I'm just going to take my liner brush. This is a 9mm liner brush. I'm just going to go in and follow this line here. I kind of feel like even if I do cut the nail bed itself a little short, like if I'm not 100% accurate with it, like I think it'll look fine. But I don't want to make the nail bed part too long and extend past my finger, because that's gonna look weird and like unnatural. I know that's super common to do like for French tips nowadays, especially when you're doing really long nails. You like create that extended nail bed look. But for something like this, you don't want to do that, because we're trying to create a realistic looking nail. This trend, I don't even remember like when it first started. I know it like comes and goes, I feel like. Like right now, it's kind of back in and people are doing it again. I think it was like a couple years ago or so when people started doing it. And then like they kind of stopped, and then I saw it again and stopped, and now it's like back up again. And I really wanted to do it like when it first started trending, but I didn't really have like, I mean, I had the colors. I could have mixed up, you know, my own colors, but I don't know. I guess I just didn't really ever get to it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, cure this for 60 seconds, and then I'll also do a second coat, but I'll do that off camera. Okay, so I did do a second coat, which you can see on these ones here. This is what it looks like, and I felt like it was still a little bit too sheer. I also felt like the color maybe a little off, so I did actually end up mixing up a little bit more, and I did add in more of bare bones to get more of a, I don't know, like a nude. I mean, they're both nude, but like a white nude, if that makes sense. And I feel, and I'm adding on a third layer to them, and I feel like that matches a whole lot better than this. Like, I think just the 2 layers and that previous mix would have been fine, but I feel like this third layer with the new mix just matches a little bit better. Okay, so now that I have that done, I have actually changed my mind, and I am going to add the little lanula. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Just a little half moon shape down here. I know this isn't what my natural nails look like, but it's fine. I kind of want to see what it would look like if I had that on all of my nails. Because like I said, I have like a very small one on my left thumb, but not on any of my other fingers or nails. I don't know if I should do a second coat on that part or just leave it with one coat. I'm gonna do the nail bed part and then we can decide. So now I'm just going in with cuffing season. I'll probably have to do 2 coats of this. Also, if there is a little bit of overlap on these colors, I'm not really being too picky about it because I feel like that just kind of helps it blend a little more, make it look a little more seamless, instead of it being like so obvious that it's 2 like separate colors, if that makes sense. You know how like on a normal French tip you can definitely tell the distinct difference, or like the separation between your nail bed color and the French color or the tip color. I feel like the slight overlap that may be happening kind of helps to hide that and blend them together a little more. Yeah, that's definitely gonna need a second coat. Okay, so now I'm going to cure those for 60 seconds, and then also off camera I will do a second coat of that and see how that looks. Okay, so I do just real quick want to show you before I finish these up. I did go in with a second coat of that white wedding on the little moon, half moon up there. I just felt like it kind of got lost with the one coat. And then for the cuffing season color, the nail bed color, I am doing a third coat because, so these four here all have the third coat, and then this one here only has two coats, and I just feel like two coats wasn't enough, like it was too sheer, even though I know it's gonna go on like my nails and it is going to get more opaque. Like, I don't know, I just felt like two coats wasn't really matching up very well with the rest of the nail, so I am doing a third coat, and hopefully it looks fine when it's on. I am wondering if maybe I should just left it with two coats, since it's gonna go on my nails and it is going to make that part look a little more opaque. Now that I'm actually thinking about this, I'm like, no, I'm gonna stick with the 3 coats. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish this up real quick. But I think for this set, to make them look a little more realistic, I'm gonna go in with a matte top coat. This is the Nails by Dev matte top coat, and it is my favorite top coat, or matte top coat as of right now that I have tried. It is a wipe off top coat, so after you cure it, you do have to wipe it off with alcohol in order to get the matte effect. And I have found that it really helps to prevent like smudging and smearing, because you know, with matte top coats sometimes they can create smudging and smearing of your nail art. And I have heard people say that a wipe off matte top coat doesn't do that, whereas a no wipe matte top coat always does that, or usually does that. And prior to using the Nails by Dev matte top coat, I would always say, if you're going in with a matte top coat, always wipe your nails off with alcohol beforehand to get rid of that sticky layer, because that's what's being spread around the nail, and that's why there's all that smudging and smearing happening. So to prevent that, just wipe off the nail with some alcohol. But ever since using this Nails by Dev matte top coat, I have not had any issues with that at all. So I definitely recommend looking into getting a wipe off matte top coat instead of a no wipe matte top coat if you do experience like smudging and smearing. Otherwise, like I said, you can just wipe off that sticky layer before top coating. But I'm going to go ahead and cure these for 60 seconds. Okay, so this is what they're looking like before I wipe that off. This is also what they would look like if you kept them shiny, which honestly isn't bad. It looks like you just like applied a top coat to your natural nails to make them look shiny, but that's not the look I'm going for. Like I said, you do have to wipe this top coat off with some alcohol. So I'm just taking a lint-free wipe with some alcohol, isopropyl alcohol on it, and wiping them off. And you do want to make sure you're wiping everything off, because you don't want to leave any of those shiny bits. Also, that is like a sticky layer as well, the inhibition layer, so you do want to make sure you're getting that all off, because the inhibition layer is uncured gel. And here's what they look like matte. I don't know if I like these. They're so weird. I feel like, okay, so I feel like on camera they look better, like from what I can see, whereas in person I just feel like they look kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about these. They're so weird. Like, I feel like they look like actual, you know, natural nails, but also I feel like I didn't do a very good job executing it. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about these. I've seen other people do them and they look so good. And then I do it and I'm like, that doesn't look all that great. I could also just be being hard on myself, because, you know, that's what we all do. Every time we see our own stuff, we're like, yeah, that doesn't look good. I mean, sometimes there are times where I feel like it looks great, but yeah, no, this is, I don't know. They're weird. It also might just be because they look like natural nails, and it is low-key kind of freaking me out. Cause it's like I just ripped some nails off of someone and put them on. Let's go ahead and put them on and see what they look like on. So, a little behind the scenes on how I apply my press-ons for doing pictures and videos. I just use these little sticky tabs. I got a huge pack of them off of Amazon, and I just apply them to my nail. Also, you're probably seeing that on my pinky. Well, by the time you see this video, I think you will know what happened. I think that video where I don't know. Either way, the other day when I was taking off my previous set, had some pearls on my nails, and I went to clip one off and pinched my pinky right in my nippers. Like, not in the part that you use to cut stuff, like clip your cuticles, or like that you use to pop off like rhinestones and stuff, but like the actual handle part of it like pinched me. And then see, with that caramel gel, they're super easy. You just pop them off just like that. They come off super easy. And then I'll just wipe the gel off with some alcohol, and I'll be able to stick a new set of nails on. Okay. Okay, so I think I went a little too, that one's crooked. Cat hair. I might have gone a little too far with, like, down with the nail bed. It should have been more up here. It is a little farther down than I would like. Well, the thumb's not too bad. The thumb's pretty good. Like I said, it would look more accurate if I were to have done this like on myself, like had the tips on my nails prior to, but actually they don't look too bad. I feel like on camera they look a whole lot better. Like in person it's just kind of, I don't know, but on camera, like I feel like, okay, that one being crooked, we're gonna ignore that. But like, I don't know, they look kind of real, right? Like compared to my actual nails over here. Also, that I burned myself while cooking the other day, so I'm a little bit of a mess. But like, okay, maybe they're not too bad. Like seeing them next to my actual nails, which are a little bit of a mess, but like, okay, they're not too bad. I think I should have just stuck with doing 2 coats of that nail bed color though. I do think it did end up being a little too pinky with that 3rd coat. But that's not too bad. So weird. And again, I do feel like the nail bed area needed to be a little more down, and the free edge part needed to be a little longer. But honestly, it's not too bad for how I did it. Like just kind of eyeballing it. I also feel like I could have done like this, the lanula part a little better. So some of them are a little off-centered, but I don't know, maybe that's normal. I don't know. I don't have them, so I don't know what they're supposed to look like. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Look, I came outside to get some outside shots, and there's a lizard on the wall right there. We get lizards in our backyard every year. Sometimes they get into the house too, and I have to scoop them up and bring them back outside. But it's so fun. This is the 2nd lizard that I've seen so far this year. Also, all of this like jungle is growing from underneath the fence from our neighbor's yard. I just wanted to show you the little lizard. Also, get some outside shots of these nails. I feel like they look a lot better outside, like in natural sunlight, as opposed to inside under my filming lights. They're not too bad. And then once I'm done with all of my final shots, I can just pop them right off. And then they can go into the nail graveyard.